There is a milestone for Social Security today. President Roosevelt signing it into law 80 years ago today. But how long will it survive? Look at this. Over the next 75 years, Social Security is projected to pay out $159 trillion. That is not a typo. That's how much more in benefits than it collects in taxes. Let's bring in our panel to talk about its future. David and Sabrina are back along with John Lonsky, Moody's chief economist. John, look at that number. That spending's just unsustainable. You can't keep that going.
It is scary. You have to realize moving forward each year, I think the number of Americans 65 and older growing by roughly 2 million on average up until about 2025. The rest of the population, 500,000. So there's this big demographic imbalance. It's going to be very taxing for the federal government, state and local governments.
Well, it's not only taxing, Sabrina. Again, it's unsustainable. There's a poll out. In fact, people are not dummies. A poll out of both millennials and some of the kind of baby boomers, Generation X, I think they used to call it. They say they expect they're going to get no benefits from Social Security at all. Do you think you're ever going to get any benefits from it?
Not in its current form, David. I mean, it's wildly the way it is, and by 2018, the government's going to be paying out far more than it's taking in. And it's also really off balance for a lot of different demographics. You noted millennials. I'm thinking a lot about women. The fact is, when Social Security was designed, it was designed to fit a 1935-style single-earner family. Well, the workplace has changed. Family structures have changed. We have a lot of penalties against women now. Dual entitlement rule, changes in divorce laws. All of this is making it really not a good system for women. It needs to be drastically reformed.
So, David, how are Democrats? We all want it. I paid into it my whole life. I want a piece of what I paid into. But how am I going to pay for it? How is the country going to pay for it?
Well, certainly not by privatizing Social Security, which, if you can imagine, back in 2008, when we went off near the financial cliff, if we had privatized Social Security, we'd be in a real hurt. And I think one of the things
but David, hold on a second. David, you got to answer one question before you leave here. How are we going to pay for it?
Well, I think if somebody's making $50,000 and paying 6% on Social Security, and somebody making $500,000 in the same year is paying only 1%, I think you might want to close that gap and make it equal contributions and have everybody put in 6%. Well,
so
then you would
find more money.
So,
John, okay, let's go back to the economist from Moody's. John, is that going to do it? Would that be enough to pay for this incredible spending that we're going to have to do?
No, that's not going to do it on its own. We also want to consider, too, that if we do anything that dulls the incentive to work for these upper-income people, less jobs get produced. And let's not forget, we're getting healthier. We're living longer, so why not go ahead and increase the retirement age? This is something we could start planning for right now. We could warn 40-year-olds.
Something's got to be done. It's not just a matter. Okay, we got to leave it at that, gang. Thank you very much. By the way, that was Sabrina trying to chime in with the last word. You can catch Sabrina. She didn't get the last word here, but on Forbes on Fox. You can watch that tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's on our sister network, Fox